of the program, and we're really glad to see the interest of CCIU employees in the program. We had a great first year, and we're really looking forward to building on the program's implementation that started last year, making some small changes, and then customizing it for the group of participants that we have in year 2. So my name is Noreen O'Neill. I'm the Director of Innovative Educational Services here at CCIU. And I am speaking on behalf of a large group of CCIU employees who have really contributed to this program. It was a brainchild last year, and then we actually worked together to fashion the program and kind of make it come true throughout the last year. We had some great evaluation procedures that were put in last year, and we're incorporating them in year 2 of the program. So let me give you an overview of what's involved with the program and what you will see. So there's an organizational goal that is connected to the Leadership Development Program. And our Board of Directors has committed their work to this year to supporting this Leadership Development Program. It was originally designed to promote leadership from within CCIU. We wanted a chance for employees to contribute back to the organization, capture some ideas that were coming to fruition, and give people an opportunity to explore other aspects of the organization, meet people from other divisions, and then really implement an idea that was new. We also wanted to talk about how this could be replicated in other places. So you're going to see some real core areas of the program, and also you'll see how they might be managed in other places besides CCIU. As typical of our organization, we want to try something new. We want to take a risk, kind of stretch ourselves and our expertise. And then after we grow, we want to share what we've learned with those that we serve. So this organizational goal was really designed to do both of those things. The other concept that's important with this program is Dr. O'Brien often says that it's really about the people that work here at CCIU. We consider employees of CCIU to be our strength, and we know that. We know that they're an important aspect of the organization, so we wanted to kind of reinvest in our personnel and give people a chance to contribute back to the organization and have professional growth themselves. So that was another driving concept behind the program, and I think that you'll see that in the way that the program is built over time. There's a lot, it's all about growth. It's not only growth for us as individuals, but growth in terms of our working together, and then growth of our organization as a whole. So who's eligible for the program? Right now, the program is designed for project and professional staff who are not currently in or are new to administrative or supervisory roles. That includes staff that are currently enrolled in an external leadership program, interested in exploring their own potential, and it could also include staff that are pursuing degrees. So it's very inclusive. We have some staff members that say, hey, you know, I'm involved in this program, does that mean that I can't do this? And no, it doesn't at all. We really want to encourage participation. It is some work, it is a commitment, but we want to be as inclusive as possible, and we just want people to apply with their supervisor's approval. So there's an application. Has anyone taken a look at the application yet? Okay, what did you think? Are you able to click through the whole thing? Great, so we got some feedback last year. Boy, that was a test in and of itself to do the application. It is, as I said, there is some work involved in this program, and you get a taste of that through the application. We want it to be friendly, but we also want to have enough information about you and what your goals are that we can make good decisions. Last year, we had 10 people that were participating in the program. And we really use that application process to kind of screen those people, try to make a good cohort of folks that would be involved in the program. So I'd encourage you to take that application seriously. Spend some time that you need to make sure that it reflects you, and give us something to work with. Give us enough information about you so that we know what your goals are. The format of the program is really interesting. It's project-based, and the committee had a lot of discussions about this. We really didn't want to make it boring, and we really refused to go into just of a sit and get model. We want to interact with people in the program, but we wanted you to have something of your own to work on, some kind of project that you were invested in and that you could explore as part of the program. So participants are assigned a project, and that's another reason to take some time with your application. We want to make good assignments with that project. We've asked for project ideas, or they may bubble up, but we'll make a match between the applicant in the program and the project that they work on. The project's something that's going to benefit the organization at large. You can see there on this slide, there's different stages of any type of project. So there's analysis and design stage, development stage, as well as an implementation stage. We knew that these projects could not go from start to finish just through the leadership development program. So there's a lot of decision-making that goes along with participating in this program, where what's the entry point for this project? What hasn't been done yet? What's the next step? Sometimes, depending on the project, that will be evident for people to say, you know, I can only get this far in this amount of time with this project, and to make some good decisions about where that entry point would be with the project and where that exit ramp would be. So we know that you're not going to be able to get from start to finish within the 4 to 5 months that you'll be in the program. A lot of the projects, in fact, they're designed to involve more than one division. And that's truly a strength of this program. By participating, your project will lead you to meet key people. And it's not mapped out. So you are exploring to determine, who do I need to talk to find this answer? And sometimes you might say, oh, I need to talk to this person. And that person will say, well, you also need to talk to this person too. It could be in multiple divisions. And so there's an opportunity to truly explore our organization, the different aspects of our organization, and the different people involved. And then finally, the project is designed to be challenging. It's not that we're withholding a right answer or a finish line for the project. It's truly open-ended. It's a challenge for the organization. That's why the project was identified. And so we know that it's going to be difficult in nature, and that your exploration are times it's going to lead to a dead end, and times it's going to lead to some unanticipated win for the organization. We don't always know what they are in advance. So although we'll help and guide you, we really want you to be the trailblazer in terms of these projects, and to take on the challenge and to share what you've learned. So the participants are also given a mentor. The mentor is not in that person's department or typically in their division, but they are a guide, and they're designed to be of help and support. The mentor does not necessarily serve as an expert in the project. The mentor is there to support the participants in the program and make sure that the participants have that support that they need, sometimes run interference, sometimes it's just somebody to talk to, say, hey, I'm running into a problem in this area, I need some help. So the mentor is more about the process and less about the specific project, but they can absolutely offer great guidance. And the mentors all have qualifications and experience. They're there to serve you, and they want you to be successful. You'll get training in the program on project management, so that everyone, although the projects are different, the project management process is the same. And then there's check-in sessions. So although we didn't want to design a program where participants were just sitting and hearing information about leadership, we did want to have an opportunity for people to discuss leadership challenges. And so last year, we did a needs assessment of participants in the program. Hey, what are your needs? What are your problems? What are you running into? And for example, one of those was communication. Really needed, I thought I knew communication, but now that I'm talking to people I don't know in different parts of the organization, I'd like to talk some more about that. So we focused those sessions on topics that we knew would be timely for the group, and were based on those needs assessments. So participants in the program are leaders of their project. So part of that and part of this process is that as a leader, that doesn't mean working in isolation. It doesn't mean working on your own. So what we found was leaders were building their teams. That was another really interesting happening or learning of last year. Because as participants in the program were trying to build their teams, they had to ask people, hey, would you be part of my team? And sometimes that's really hard to do with colleagues who you know are already busy. So how do you, from a leadership position, not only ask for help when you need it, but then how do you fashion that so people know exactly what you do need and can help you? So a big learning from the group was, hey, I did ask for help and I got it. And that was a really great a lesson, I think, for many of us in the program last year, because our organization is just rich with wanting to help, not only those that we serve, but each other. So another strength of the program is what does leadership look like when you don't have all the answers and you're not working on your own? So the mentor here is part of that support system, part of that help. The mentor really can't manage that project for the participant, but the mentor can certainly help the participant in the program. So at the end, what the participants do is they present their project results to administration and supervisors. So and what we found last year is that this was another area that people were like, oh no, how do I do that? Kind of nervous. So we created like a template for them to follow, so that no matter what the project was, the sharing of that project was kind of put into a structure that made it a little bit easier. And that was also helpful because the participants in the program were able to point to that structure as a guide, but they were really encouraged to say, hey, these were my successes, these were my challenges, this is what I learned, kind of build a story out of their experience. Part of that story is not just the win with the project, but what leadership skills were developed. And usually, and unfortunately, we develop those skills by running into problems, challenges, and solving them. So another real highlight, I think, of the program to consider is to know that you're going to run into these challenges and that you're running into these challenges in a real safe environment here with support of colleagues, with the support of a mentor, and with a project that is something new, different, and there's no right answer to refer to. So that reflection on one's leadership, I think, is really the essence of the program. What did I learn as a leader? What were my challenges? What did I run into? How did I solve them? What would I do differently? How does this position me to meet future challenges? And I think that practical experience is great. You get the mentor support. The key leadership skills, I think, that people identified last year were really kind of inspiring to the rest of us. Organizational exposure. Many of us are in one part of the IU, but there's a massive part of the IU that we don't get to encounter every day. So that's a real plus. And then trying new initiatives, new things, but with support, I think, is another real plus of the program. So that application that many of you identified that you've already seen, you can, if you haven't seen it, that's where you go to link to it. And The deadline for the application is October 9th. I'd encourage you to apply. I'd encourage you not to wait to the last minute. We did have some folks last year who said, hey, can I have an extension? I'm running late. And unfortunately, we couldn't honor the extension. So I think starting early with that application, giving it some thought and then come back to it is something that I'd recommend. And then asking questions of anyone involved with the leadership development program that you have, both participants from last year, mentors, or those of us that were on the design committee. So I see Dr. Williard was able to join us, and he and I will be happy to answer any questions that you have about the program. Sure.
Safety and environment. You didn't finish your project.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is there a second cohort, or is it continuing testing?
Yeah, it's a one-year program. What happened with some of the projects, and each one's different, so we really don't know, where we're going to end up with each one. But sometimes they were taken on by they had gotten far enough that they could be attached to the right part in the organization. We have some folks who want to continue with their projects from last year on their own. So we've really been able to, take it case by case. I don't think that there's been one standard answer to that.
Yeah, it really is a fluid process. If it's something that is still very passionate for you and that's something you want to continue, but we don't necessarily have that second year in the LDP program to complete that. And sometimes the new folks in LDP, and that's what we're looking at this year, might be part of that process as well. So.
Yes, Marie.
Did I understand you correctly? There's one participant in each task for other people to come help?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
we feel a significant part of the leadership development is knowing how to reach out to those other critical people and looking for that expertise that's going to help you be successful with the project. In leadership, you're always looking to make sure you have the right person connected to what you're trying to accomplish. And you might find as you're a part of the program that even some of you in the LDP program this year have some expertise that you might be able to tap into to say, I'm on this one, could you assist? And sometimes there's a little bit of crossover, and sometimes some of the groups that each person might collect might have some crossover because of the areas of expertise.
Yeah, I think the lesson that I think we try to have people encounter is you can't be a leader if you're just working by yourself. And so part of that leadership lesson is how do you pull people together? And we didn't necessarily want to give you a team because part of that process of exploring within the IU would be that you'd be building a team. And that seems more authentic to us. So I think it's challenging, but I think it's one of the best parts of the program.
That's oftentimes where the mentor is going to be part of that assistance process. You might have that meeting with the mentor and trying to say, I need to find somebody with this expertise, and they can help guide you and look for that expertise within the organization. Because as Maureen indicated, we're a large organization. So some of this is as getting you out and engaged with other people in other divisions and other programs.
And are you able to share some of the projects that the cohort was on last year?
Sure.
As an example?
Sure.
Yeah, we had everything from looking at a marketing program for the practical nursing program. We had a group work on attendance at the technical college high schools. There was another program in student services that was looking at providing the computer-based learning, I believe, for the students. So it really varies, and that initial list was maybe 15 different ideas. It came down to, I believe we landed on 10, and those participants took those on. And we spent some time looking at how to match up the project with the person, not necessarily in your direct area of knowledge and expertise, because again, it's about the leadership experiences. What does it take when you're given something that is really brand new, not a lot of experience with it, and how do you pull that group together to make sure it can all work?
I'd also say some of those projects kind of changed. Participants were matched with their project. They really had in mind what they thought it was going to be. And then as they went through the different phase of design or implementation, there were twists and turns. But I think everyone came out of it with some experience and something that they could point to that they learned in terms of their own leadership.
I do understand that it's project-based, but I'm just wondering if there's a component that kind of helps with the software management skills as well, in terms of, I understand creating and implementing the project, but I'm just thinking about leadership at my school and some of the software touches that managers have to have.
Absolutely, yeah, some of that was addressed. What we found was that sometimes people ran into situations where they were pulling on those skills that they wouldn't necessarily have to have done in their typical workday. We found that out sometimes in their discussions with mentors, and then often during those sessions where we had participants talk with each other, and some of them they talked about examples of those. And so what we did was we designed some professional learning sessions related to those topics so that people had some literature-based, real-life experience to attach to best practices.
And then did I also understand that the mentor might not be from that specific sort of area for the project?
Correct.
So they are really more just like a guide rather than like sort of an expert administrator in that.
Yeah, and the reason for that is because we wanted to make sure that the mentors didn't start doing the projects, right? Because some of us have control issues, right? So, if I were your mentor and I started taking over your project, maybe not even knowing I was doing it, how uncomfortable would that be for you? Because although I might have a lot of experience or knowledge, it wouldn't be helpful. So we just did, knowing ourselves, so to speak, we didn't want to put people in that situation, and we really wanted to practice good leadership skills ourselves. Other questions?
How long until after an after you find out if you are accepted into the program?
We have a timeline, I believe it's November the 1st, that we'll let you know by. And then we'll start those sessions. The first session is scheduled November 13th. So once you know, it'll be shortly thereafter that we'll get you together and start the process.
Is that you expect a once a week kind of meeting? Is it a lot of, what you find at your own pace?
It really is going to pace and your mentor. We don't necessarily prescribe how many times a month or a week you should meet with your mentor. Ultimately, it's how you dive in and start that process of dissecting the project. Maybe initially it's every week. Once you got things going and you got a couple of people that are assisting in your process, maybe it's every other week. So we try not to prescribe it. Good question.
Are there any examples of these type of projects that we see around the organization now? That we worked on last year that has been implemented now?
The part? The homebound robot. Yes, the homebound robot one is still being worked on and continues to be part of, other people's projects, and it's still being led by the person who started that, I believe, as well.
Yeah, so Danielle Horvath was assigned to that as part of her leadership development program. And so it was at the stage that was already in kind of design. So she worked through the design and then more into the implementation. That's where her focus is. And still kind of early on, we've got 2 students working with it. And she had a passion for it and has stayed on, even though it's in her same division, but it's not an area that she typically would have been a part of.
There was also the practical nursing summer exploration program.
So our practical nursing program partnered with the Economic Development Council, and they ran a one-week summer program where the kids went to New Hope Center and got their hands in something, commentators. They got their hands in something. But then they would come back to the CHS campuses and complete some kind of training there, some kind of exploration. So the projects are all in different stages still, but those are two of the examples of attractions.
Who's it assigned to projects? And in Google based as well. So is there specific projects that are already out there that we can be assigned to, or does it come from our application that you assign us to something specific?
We sought ideas from the organizational leadership team to say, what are some new things that we could put out for these projects? And once we get those really kind of all established, then that's where we're going to look to assign. But if there's something, and I think there was maybe one last time that somebody had offered as a participant, that we were able to work with that and allow that to be part of that process as well.
If you have an idea for a project,
Yeah.
by all means, share that.
Absolutely.
So when you go to that page where the links are, there's a link for your application. There's also a link for project ideas. So after you leave, if you have any questions, you're welcome to contact anyone involved. But I'm Noreen. It's Noreen O. It's my email. And if you want to drop me an email, I'll be happy to find out the answer to your question and get back to you. Thank you for coming.
At Kirk W. In fact, those are, I guess, where the emails are coming from, so.
But thanks for your interest. It's great to have you here. It's a wonderful place to be when you're. So your interest in being here is really appreciated. It makes our organization a better place, makes me happy inside. So thank you. Thank you all for staying today.
And if you know of anyone else that wasn't able to make it this afternoon, share what you've learned, and we'd like to have more people apply because we'll continue to build the leadership capacity within the organization.